Let me ask you, folks, are you a receiver or are you a giver? What's that whole notion of giving, receiving? I've been thinking about this. This is Mary Scott from Wealth of Passion. Today I'm sitting in my home office here in Noosa on the east coast of Australia. And I was thinking about this because I've been receiving. Now, what I mean by that is that I think that quite often it's a lot easier to give than it is to receive. So I was just playing around with it in my head. And last week I went for a massage, as I do from time to time. And at the end of the massage, I went to pay, and my massage person said, "No, this is on me." And I'm like, what? And of course I've got tears in my eyes, and I was really overcome with, I don't know, just enormous gratitude. And I said, "Why are you doing this?" And she said, "Well, you're someone that, looks after herself and comes here quite often. So I thought, I'll give back to you." So I'm like, wow, so once I sort of got it together a bit, because it took me a bit, I was just walking out to my car and I was thinking about this whole thing about receiving and how much easier it is for me to give than it is to receive. And I thought, I think I'll just do a little video about this, because what does it mean? Does receiving put you in a position of vulnerability? Does it put you on the back foot? I didn't certainly feel on the back foot in that instance. And I felt really touched, I have to tell you. But the giving didn't end there, because I went to my hot yoga class. I think it was the very next day, actually. And I was running really close to the time. I was almost late, but I had like 3 minutes to spare. And I went rushing into the room. I put my mat down and I realised, oh my gosh, I haven't got my water. And I thought, I've just left it next to the car. So I raced to the car park, go to my car. No. And of course I didn't bring my key with me. My goodness, you got to worry, don't you, sometimes about this. Anyway, I went back and I just got back into my mat. And so the hot yoga session started. And I was like, oh, I don't like being in here without water. Well, so then I just wanted to put that from my mind. And at the end of the first posture, because we do 26, someone from behind, I heard the door shut. I was like, oh, this person arrived with a bottle of water for me. And I was like, this is amazing. This is twice in 1 week. I've been receiving just random acts of kindness. That's what it is. It's random acts of kindness. And, I thought that was a really beautiful thing. So after the class, what do you think I did? I said, oh, how much was the water? She's like, no, it's nothing. I wanted to give you a bottle of water because I could see you didn't have it. Now, I don't even know this woman. So what's that all about? What's it like for you to receive? Or is it better to be the giver? Sometimes I'm watching out when I can do something to surprise someone. And it might be, pay for someone's petrol. But when I plan it like that, I get to pay, and the person's already, that I had my eye on to pay for, has already been and gone and paid. Or they get in front of me in the queue, or, and so I've been thinking about this receiving. Do you think that being a receiver is easier or a giver? Well, for me, I find it a lot easier to give, that's for sure. And I've got 2 live cases of that just in the last couple of weeks. And I'd like to hear, put some comments in the bottom here under this video about what you're like. Are you a better receiver or a giver? And what's in it for you? Well, I've got a goal to, to give anonymously. And I've had a couple of goes. I've been successful where the person doesn't know. And I think that's kind of fun because they never know. And what's in it for me? I think it's just a beautiful thing to do. And I know our company a few years ago had, a session where people had to go and just do random acts of kindness. And I wasn't there, but I think that'd be kind of cool. And, I remember years ago, here's another one. When I was doing a course at university, we did an experiment. That's right, I've just remembered this. And we stood in the street and we had this tray. It was all set up and we put money on it. And then we put the sign, get your free money here. And people would come up and look at the money and they never took it. We had a few coins, notes, things like that. And I didn't speak. I just held this tray. It was hilarious because people wanted to take the money, but they didn't. I don't know what it would be like if I set it up, downtown. I wonder what that would be like. You get your free money here. Wouldn't that be fun to do? What an experiment. Because I wonder, because when I did that last experiment, it's got to be a long time ago, at least 15 years ago, people didn't take it. And I remember very distinctly there was one woman, she had her head right in the tray. She really wanted to take the money, but she didn't. Here's your opportunity. Tell me, are you a receiver or are you a giver? And what's the payoff for either? I think the payoff for being the giver for me is that it feels good and it's lovely. And the receiving I could do better with because I think it's quite humbling. Those two experiences of the last couple of weeks of receiving absolute random acts of kindness really took me back. So I want to hear from you when you listen to this. Put the comments in. Are you a receiver or are you a giver? Let me know. And what's the payoff? This is Mary Scott from Wealth with Passion. Be awesome.